The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
You guys remember, I would purposely wear my Israel shirts, New York stands with Israel, and all my Jewish shirts, F Hamas. That came later, obviously, but I would purposely wear those, and it drew the ire, of course, of my wife and my children. Even you guys are like, are you nuts? I took the subway. I didn't care. I welcomed it. It never happened. I actually did save one guy. You remember that, gentleman, on his way to Brooklyn on a Friday on Shabbat from some out-of-control strap hanger. Did save him. But otherwise, they've never messed with me because they're cowards. They wouldn't do that because I'm a pretty big guy, and I look like I can kill you. I probably can't, but I look like I can. So they pick on little kids who wear yarmulkes and tzitzis and, you know, the guys that look like they can't defend themselves. And the truth is they can't. Because Jewish people in this country, to Dov Hikien's point and mine and Michael Rappaport, they're not trained like the Israelis are. Israelis, 8 years old, they got a gun already, okay? You try to mess with a 13-year-old kid in Israel, he'll kick your ass. Here, they take off the yarmulke. They hide their Mogen Davids. I can't stand that. So tonight I'm being honored with a bunch of really cool people. Aaron Molan, big star in Australia. Bruce Pearl, one of the greatest college basketball coaches ever, most recently Auburn. Now, who else is tonight? Oh, Emily Austin, our dear friend Emily. And some guy I don't know, but he's got a lot of followers, James Maslow, over 2 million followers. At any rate, the Manhattan Jewish Experience will host its 27th annual dinner at the Museum of Jewish Heritage tonight. And Mark Wildes is the rabbi that founded the place, going on 30 years, 1998, and he's kind enough to join me on this big morning. Rabbi Wildes, how are you, pal? Nice to have you.
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. What an honor.
The honor is mine. I love the fact that you're working with 20 and 30-year-olds. I see a lot of old Jewish people, obviously, but you know, with everything else in life, even with Trump, I get excited when I talk to a 19-year-old Trump supporter. Same thing with our people, to see these kids in their 20s and 30s so enthusiastic about our religion and our future. That's a testament to the work you're doing at MJE. And one of the reasons why, to be honest, Rabbi, I'm very excited about tonight.
I really appreciate that. I've been operating with this population for almost 30 years, as you said, and it's imperative right now we get to young people because young people, unfortunately, are being brainwashed and are getting sucked into a very false narrative about Israel, about Jews, and we really have to get to a lot of the young people who are, unfortunately, getting their history from TikTok and not really learning the facts and what's happened in Israel, what happened on October 7th. So much falsity and just lies and slander out there. So thank God, we've got, hundreds of young people coming tonight, and all year round, we've got probably about 25,000 attendees at programs each year at MGE. And it's just been great. People are really proud to be Jewish. And I've always said this, that if you don't understand something, you can't be proud of it. You can't ask someone, a young person, to be proud of who they are as a Jew or of the state of Israel if they've never been there, if they've never visited, if they have no history, if they have no understanding of it. They're going to have a very kind of use the Jewish word, schleppy, kind of perspective on things
100%.
If they're not knowledgeable.
No, listen, I've made that argument. I'd be so angry. I have friends here. They'd be commenting about the Palestinians from Staten Island. Never been to Israel. They'd be commenting about the Palestinians from Brooklyn. Well, the war started in 2023. Now, to be honest, for 56 years, I'd never gone to Israel. Always wanted to, never went. Well, I'm going back again on June 18th. I've been bestowed the honor for the second straight year of speaking at the JNS.org International Policy Summit. Just so you know, the speakers that speak there include Bibi Netanyahu, Mark Levin, Mike Huckabee, Ron Dermer. I think you'd agree, a pretty big list. And I speak with those guys now every year. It'll be my 5th trip to Israel since the war started in 2023. And unless you actually see the dynamic between the Israelis and the Arabs, this lie about how we're killing innocent Palestinians and the genocide, they're so stupid and so misinformed, you have to go to Israel to see it to really know the dynamic. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm so happy you're going to be there because I'll see you there.
Oh, great!
I'm actually one of the speakers at JNS. Also, they're an amazing organization, and kudos to you. Kol hakavod, or Mayama Kazov, whatever language you want to use. Anyone who goes to Israel now, I mean, it's so important to go. And that's the common denominator of all the people that we're honoring at the dinner tonight. These are all people who have stood up for Israel, Jew and non-Jew alike. These are individuals that, you mentioned before, James Maslow is a performer. He's a musician from Nashville, Tennessee. He lost over 1 million followers on his Instagram because he went to Israel after October 7th to show his support for the Jewish state. And that's someone I wanted to honor at the dinner because he took a bit of a hit and we should be there to support him. And he's getting other great followers now. And he, as he said in one of his videos, in one of his music videos, that now he can tell people who exactly he is. And I think it's important for everyone to know where people stand on this issue today. And if you go to Israel and you support Israel that's a simple and easy way of knowing what side you're on here.
No, I remember I was there literally 3 months after the war started, January 2024. I was talking to Rosanna Scotto, from Channel 5 and others, and they said, "What are you, nuts? They're still killing people there." I said, "Exactly." And I remember walking the streets with my wife, Danielle, beautiful wife, in Jerusalem. Far from home, Rabbi, 7,000 miles. And somebody stopped me and said, "Thanks for coming." I said, "You know who I am? Of course I do. I listen every day." "No, you don't." Wow. "Sid, I listen every day." And now that trip, my first trip, and again, I'm going back again in 2.5 weeks, that was one of many that stopped me in the streets of Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, and said thank you. So they are aware over there of the Americans who come over to support them. See, my big issue is I'm less concerned about the bad guys and more concerned about our own people. For example, when I see this mayor, who he's a flat-out anti-Semite, I don't care how much he smiles, what he says about protecting every New Yorker, including the Jews. He shows his true colors. He's not coming Sunday to the Israeli Day Parade. I don't want him. And it's not because he just doesn't like Zionists and Israel. He doesn't like us. Great, I don't like him. I hate him, okay? But when I see rabbis from the Satmar community like Moshe Indig and these others tweeting about what a great guy Mamdani is, or this moron reform rabbi saying yesterday, thank God for Mamdani and his 26 million against hate crimes. Or yesterday when we have a rally outside of Gracie Mansion and across the street a bunch of Orthodox Jews saying on ABC and CBS last night that Mamdani's not the bad guy. I'm sorry, Rabbi Wildes, but if we can't fix our own community, how will Jews ever be safe?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, we have to start with our own. If we can't understand and know who we are ourselves as Jews, and we can't stand up for ourselves, and then we can't expect anyone else to come to our aid. And by the way, I was at the rally last night against Mamdani, and I walked by that group of Hasidim, and I honestly don't even consider them Hasidim. It's the Neturei Karta. They're a group of fringe. I wonder who's paying them, honestly. They stand out there at all these rallies. They've been there for years. They're really not representative. I happen to have friends, and colleagues who are in the Hasidic world, and they're embarrassed about them. They're really not a good representation. And then on the far left, you have some crazies also. On the far left, what we have to go after really is the silent majority of young Jewish people that have not been educated and have not been inspired as to who they are and what Israel means. And we have to inspire and we have to educate. And that's what MJ is doing. And I really want to thank you, Sid, for coming tonight, because you're going to be adding just a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of encouragement to a lot of young people who really need that, what we call in Hebrew, chizuk, which is important strength.
That's right. And you know what I bring to the table, and I mention this all the time, I'm not Orthodox, I'm not religious. Sorry. I don't keep kosher. I don't go to shul on Shabbat. I don't wrap tefillin every day. I'm not proud of any of this. I'm just telling you the way it is. And I'm telling you, Rabbi, that there's a lot more Sid Rosenbergs out there than Rabbi Wildes. There's a lot more of Jewish people. You know, they'll go to shul on Yom Kippur like I do, on Rosh Hashanah. They'll have their Pesach Seders for 2 nights. And the rest of the year, they're very proud to be Jewish, but they're not wrapping tefillin every day. And those are the ones in mass numbers that I represent, and I'm proud to represent them and tell them it doesn't matter. Like, I've gotten tweets from people who say, oh, Mr. Big Mouth, you're Mr. Jew now. All of a sudden, you're king of the Jews. Where's your yarmulke? I'm like, doesn't mean anything. Yarmulke? I don't wear one. If you do, great. If you wear tzitzis, great. I don't. But I'll tell you this. You attack a Jewish person, I'll be the first to punch you across the face in the street. I want that guy more than the guy who wears a yarmulke. How about that?
Yeah, you know what? I want them both.
That's fair.